Overwhelm. Just about everybody is feeling it right now. Many of us who've been on this spiritual path or the path of higher consciousness have known about this time for a very long time. People have been talking about it since the 80s. I remember in the late 1990s hearing about this time from one of my mentors at the time, and I thought, it's just got to be wrong. How could this happen? How could there be a civil war in this country? How could the financial system be impacted? We just didn't know it would look like this. And many of you have been on this path of higher consciousness for a very long time and are wondering, what can I do? I just had a conversation with someone this morning wondering, what can I possibly do? So this is what I want to talk about. What can you do? Understand that everything is a function of the consciousness that we hold. So if we want the world to change, we have to go to what we would prefer. We use the overwhelm. Our subconscious always resolves tension. That's what it does. People who don't want to feel their feelings, which is most of the planet, resolve the tension by eating or yelling or blaming, like a hot water heater that has a pressure relief valve. The tension gets resolved. But if you're here to make a difference, if you even understand the basics of how consciousness creates, we use that tension. We look at what we don't prefer, whatever that might be for you, whether it's inequality, whether it's not enough money in your life, whatever is up for you right now. You look at that, you feel it, feel the overwhelm, feel the resistance of, I don't want this. That's tension. You let the feeling move through your body to let it move. And then you pivot to, and what would I love here? What would I love to see in my life? What would I love to see in the world? And then you imagine it. Most of the world is stuck in their five senses. That's why we're seeing this massive upheaval. We're seeing an upheaval in consciousness. We see people living as if their five senses and fear, lack, and limitation are the only things that are real. We see the other part of humanity, if you're like me, understanding that everything is a reflection of the level of consciousness that we hold, like tuning into a TV station. We get everything that station broadcasts. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or experiencing what you don't want, when you pivot to, and what would I love here, and imagine it, you are using one of your higher senses, which is imagination. Imagination creates reality. Neville Goddard knew back in the 40s. He understood this. Whatever we imagine is what we ultimately end up materializing, because that's the nature of reality. So right now, if you are feeling overwhelmed, use it. Instead of railing against what you don't prefer, go to, what would I love to see here? Spend a couple minutes daily. That's what I tell my clients, imagining what they would love, experiencing it as if it were happening right now. Because in some version of reality, it is happening right now. And as you focus on what you would prefer and feel it, and stay out of the fear-based reactions to what's happening in the world, you participate in birthing a new reality. And you call to you other people who are looking to birth the same. As I have listened to a couple of the astrologers that I respect, the end of March gets really crazy. And this is a time when Those of us who know better need to be prepared and become unflappable. We project reality without exception. Whatever we expect, whatever we assume must happen. And so this is the time to get clear before the real craziness hits. I'm recording this on the last day of February. This is the time to get really clear on what you would prefer and say no to your mind when it brings up your own thoughts of fear, lack, and limitation. We aren't linear, we're quantum. We each sit in the center of the quantum field, choosing which version of reality we prefer to live in. Everything exists. Creation is done, and it's also expanding. Everything is now. So it's only our perspective that we experience. I'm excited about this age of Aquarius because more and more of us are coming together, having come out of the illusion of fear, lack, and limitation. And we understand that our vision creates part of the Aquarian energies community. And while you may not have a physical community, you are drawing to you energetically those who are like-minded and like-hearted, those who live in a similar consciousness. So I would invite you now, if you are overwhelmed, to use it. If you feel called to protest or called to do anything, certainly do it. Understand that this is a long process that we are in. And if you live in the United States, we're in this process of deciding who are we as a country. Our country has never been based on equality, not since the beginning. And so right now we are looking at what we stand for. What do we want to see? What are we choosing? And I believe that while March is going to be really crazy, it eases up after that. And ultimately, we get to decide what shows up in our lives because we get to decide what we focus on. Remember, this is a dream, and everyone is dreaming. Remember that everyone chose to be here on the planet during this time of the greatest shift of the ages. We chose to go through this massive awakening. We chose to experience this time when we understand that we are the universe, that we are this vast field of energy, and that our awareness creates without fail. Back to what can you do? A client that I talked to this morning said, I don't know what I can do. You go to the end. What do you want to see in the world? And you stay there. And from that place of being that version of you who's experiencing peace, who's experiencing equality, what are you moved to do? You will be pinged with ideas. It's different for everyone. Most of the people that I work with are here as way showers, here to be examples of what's possible for others. You're here to help other people understand that there are no limits. We're making this all up, all of it. It's why there are instantaneous healings. It's why I haven't needed extra surgeries. It's why I can walk. It's why my life has changed exponentially. And I am just one person of many who no longer lives from logic, but who has dropped into my heart and asked, what would I love? What would I love to see? And how can I be that version of me now? And then we let reality morph around us. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's here for you to use for fuel, for creative tension, like drawing back a bow feel the overwhelm, feel the fear, and then let it move through your body. It's just a sensation. Stay out of story. And then go to, and what would I love? What would I love to see here instead? And if there are things for you to do, you'll be prompted. We can't get this wrong. The only choice that I see that we have is believing that we're our limited minds, or really finally understanding that we are a vast field of consciousness, choosing what to breathe life into with our attention and focus. I hope this helps. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's really here to serve you because you're a creator. If you haven't hit subscribe, do that. Share this with anybody that you think it might help. I work with empaths and feelers who are here to birth a new world and who are here to learn emotional regulation. Because when we are no longer reacting to outside circumstances, we become powerful creators. Thanks for listening.